What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the ABJ Podcast, episode 62 with Leo Sparrow. I got to interview him before on other platforms, but we get to finally do it on this one, so I'm super excited. This guy I've been a huge fan of for a very long time. Before we get into any of that, make sure you check the links below for all things ABJ, whether it be merchandise, social media, the sponsorships, injured wrestlers. So Philly Mike Swanson's still on the shelf, getting really close to not really close, but he's working his way back through his complete knee reconstruction. And just recently, Tony Deppen just broke his arm. So he has a brand new t-shirt out by Stiff Blade. So if you want to go support him, his t-shirt link is below as well. We always want to help out our local brothers and sisters in this wrestling industry that get hurt, because when you lose it for a while, it does suck. And that small little income of a merch sale or just telling them you still care about them means a lot to them. So let's get into our sponsor real quick. Guys, it has finally happened. A whole store fully dedicated to vintage wrestling. They say it can never be done, but I have seen it with my own eyes. Suplex Vintage Wrestling is a store curated by wrestling fans for wrestling fans. Located on 5th Street in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, just one block south of South Street in the heart of Queen Village. Their shop features the largest collection of vintage wrestling apparel under one classic roof. Their shirts include the classic designs featuring your favorite wrestlers from the Golden Age, Attitude Era, Internationals, Indies, and more. And if you're tired of watching premium live events or pay-per-views at home, SVW hosts the best watch parties since your friend Kyle's birthday party when you were 12. I will be there next Saturday for the Clash Night of Champions, Clash Champions, whatever they're calling it now. I'll be in attendance at the store. I believe it starts at 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock. Double check on their social media. But also, if shirts and watch parties aren't your thing, don't let them forget about their figures, replica belts, trading cards, and their t-shirts and hats to their rare wrestling memorabilia. They have a little bit of something for every wrestling enthusiast out there. So what are you waiting for? Check them out at suplex.svw on Instagram or at suplex.svw.com and let them satisfy your nostalgia wrestling needs. All right. Well, without further ado, let's bring him in. Let's bring in the man of the hour. He is vegan, and that means he is better than you, and he knows it. Which was the greatest line I heard last weekend. It was beautiful, and I'm sure we'll talk about that as well. But let's bring him in. So many monikers. I'll let him rattle them all off because there's so many. But Leo Sparrow.
Hello.
What's going on, bud?
How are we doing?
I'm excited, man. You are you are someone on the scene that I've grown quite fond of. Kayfabe aside, you're a sweetheart. I know sometimes I know you play a bad guy a lot of places.
To the people here,
but for how much of a good heel you are, you're just as good as a babyface. I know I told you that before, but you're a good performer, man. I love what you do, and just behind the curtain with the fans, whether you're good or bad, you're just all around a good human being, man.
Well, thank you very much. And thank you for having me on your show. This is the first time that I've been on your show, and this is an awesome setup you got here. I went to the Suplex Vintage Wrestling store in Philadelphia, and you just walk in and you're completely immersed.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool store. So if you ever get a chance, I know they're upgrading to an even larger store, which is crazy. Good for them. So I'm happy to see that once that gets completed.
When it gets completed, maybe we should meet up at the new store and maybe record something.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they got. I mean, you got your figures going on back there. You know a little bit about something. You hang out with some big figurehead guys.
Yeah, some figure guys with the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast. Yeah, I got some stuff going on back here. It's not right now I'm in the middle of moving some stuff around, so we're gonna upgrade and move some stuff. Maybe
this setup I have back. This is all changing soon as well. So I'm in the process of also moving. So it's a lot of moving going on for everybody between me, you, and Suplex.
That's right.
Yeah, man. So let's kind of dive into a little bit of an origin story here, Leo Sparrow. But real quick, before I do, one of my favorite things about you as well as being a commentator, we do our homework. I feel like me and Pete and people I work with do a good job with our research. But you have these commentary cards that I think are the smartest and the best thing I've ever seen. Even when I booked you for this podcast, you send a Google Drive with all the promo photos, all the ways to contact your merchandise, everything is just set up. Your music's in the Google, like literally you just send that Google Drive to a promotion, podcast, anything it may be. And you're like a one-stop shop. You have your own website. Like everything about your setup and how you're doing things, just not even in the ring, outside the ring, is brilliant. Is absolutely brilliant.
Well, thank you very much. I picked that up not only by being trained by the most professional wrestler, Brian Myers, but also I went to business school. So I'm in the business of making it easy for everybody. It's easy for me if I can send you one link that has all my merchandise, photos, music, all the necessary materials, and it's easy for any promoter or podcast host.
It's magnificent. I more people in the business should take notes. Hit Leo up, flood his inbox, like, yo, show me what you do so I can replicate that. I think it helps. It will help a lot of people.
I'll share everything you want.
Yeah, it's so helpful on so many different levels. But let's rewind back and let's go back to the early days of Leo Sparrow and when you fell in love with this industry of professional wrestling. When's your first early moment of seeing it on TV, playing a video game? There's so many different stories I've heard over the course of 62 episodes. Where do you fall in?
My first exposure to wrestling was when a friend of ours brought me to the Nassau Coliseum for a SmackDown ECW taping for their birthday. And that was it. I mean, I got the video game after that, magazine subscriptions, started DVRing all the Raws and SmackDowns, and I was just hooked. So I went in person for the first time ever seeing it, and that was just the craziest thing I've ever seen. One of the people on that show was Zack Ryder, and now like being able to work with him and speak to him almost daily is like really cool to me. So yeah, that's
he has full circle. Just reinvented himself just completely. He went from you're gonna leave WWE, nothing's gonna work for you, this whole nine, to he's the biggest thing on the scene. I think
the biggest draw on the independent circuit right now.
100%.
There's so many things to learn from him. I just study him and watch what he does and see how he moves, because I'm trying to pick up little things here and there and twist it so I can also be successful.
Yeah, no, he's the guy to watch if you want to figure out how to do it, because I don't think there's anyone out there on the scene who has left the big picture of TV and then go to independent and just not miss a beat, just switch up a character for a second, piss people off, and just been rolling with it.
That's right.
Yeah, he's fantastic. So yeah, your first guy that kind of you caught your eye was Zach, or Matt Cardona at the now. So when did you followed it straight through? So high school, college, the whole nine?
Yeah. I never stopped.
Yeah. Real quick in the chat, someone just said a little off topic, but is that a massive amiibo collection? I guess you're big Mario.
No, Peach, I don't have any amiibos.
Yeah. I think they're just regular Mario.
These
Peach
Nintendo ones here? Yeah. So these are from the new Super Mario movie that just came out. And normally I only put wrestling figures up here, but right now I'm moving stuff around. So I have a bunch of non-wrestling figures down here, like Star Wars, Game of Thrones, cool stuff like that. And I was like, this shelf is empty, so I might as well put the new Mario figures I just got. This Bowser right here.
I love Bowser.
Figure of the year. This is
that's when you put smoke in his mouth, right?
Yes, it can breathe smoke. Yeah, I haven't done that yet because I don't want to put water in it. But it's a really cool figure. I'm very happy with it.
If you have not seen the movie yet, go do so. It's unbelievable.
Go check it out.
It's really, really, really good. Real quick, we'll just kind of fly through the chat. If you are listening back on the audio side of things later on, always check out the live stream. We're live on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. But people just saying hi. Tina is your absolute biggest fan. She loves
Tina. What's going on, Tina? Crazy Aunt Tina. How you doing?
Yeah, she's all the love from Tina. What's going on, ABJ and Leo Sparrow from the Metal Geek Podcast? SWAGM says, you threw spinach at me, you jerk. He probably deserved it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 100% deserved it. Leo Sparrow is the whole package, not lying. The son of the sun, there you go. One of the monikers there. Ryan Vox says, boys, great having you on right now. You're my man. So a lot of people excited for this one. So thank you guys so much. And make sure you get your questions in the chat, because we'll give you a second towards the end.
Oh yeah, ask your questions.
You guys have questions. Yeah. So when did you decide, okay, I want to pursue this as a venture. I want to get in the business. And how did you go through your process of finding your school?
Sure. So the early days of the WWE Network, they put out this program called Breaking Ground. And it was like a reality show following like Bailey and all like the early NXT guys and their journey through getting signed and developmental and becoming like a superstar. And I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And I remember like telling my parents, hey, I want to be a wrestler. And they just kind of like, all right, whatever, go get a real job. So that's what I did. So I went to business school and I had an internship lined up with the WWE. I've probably told you this story before, but I had an internship lined up with the WWE. to be a part of their community relations or talent relations department. And that was the summer of 2020. And they called me early on and they were like, we can't have you commute to Stanford in the middle of, I was living in Manhattan in the middle of COVID right now because things are crazy. We're going into lockdown. So that got taken away from me. So during COVID, I was just like watching wrestling and really appreciating it differently. And I was like, you know what? If the business aspect of it didn't work out, I'll just sign up to be a wrestler because that's what I've always wanted to do. And I would regret it if I didn't try it. And if I did try it and didn't like it, then I can always say I tried it at least. But
Yeah.
I knew that once I signed up, there was no going back. So I'm happy that I made the decision to do it. The most nerve-wracking thing I did, I think, was just Googling wrestling schools near me. So I was like, why am I actually doing this? But I'm happy I did. And I found Creative Pro. Like I said, I was always a listener of the Major Wrestling Figure podcast. I knew that Brian had his school and I knew that they had a very successful track record. So
Yeah.
I said, that's the only place to be. So I found myself a Creative Pro and I've been there 2-3 times a week since.
That is the move right there. That is such a fan. Like there's so in the Northeast coast, man, between Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, Connecticut, Boston. I mean, there's just riches of schools and things that you can do in this area. And it's hard to find a school that's not good for the most part. But man, Creative Pro is up there, man. Like, you look at their roster, you look at the people who've come out of there who are successful on television. I was kind of a couple episodes ago, I was talking to Joey Conway, and I'll kind of mirror the same question to Joey Conway as you is, this business is competitive, and a lot of times I don't have that experience of ever being part of a wrestling school where you've developed that family and that brotherhood and sisterhood and just that family all together. But like, is it motivating or is it deflating sometimes when you put all your work into chasing this dream, and then people from your school are moving on and getting TV spots and this and that, and sometimes you feel like you're being left out, or because not a lot of schools have that problem that a Creative Pro has, is when you're part of that school, so many people are just moving through the ranks and getting huge opportunities, which is almost an anomaly. Like, it just doesn't happen at a lot of wrestling schools.
I would say it's very motivating. I mean, nobody in Creative Pro is ever jealous or bitter or anything like that. And if people are getting opportunities, it's because that they're working hard and they deserve it. So if you want those opportunities, you have to do what they did to follow in their footsteps and also get these good opportunities. So it's really on you. Yeah, and that goes for any wrestling school, not just Creative Pro.
Yeah, and it's got to be that thing too where you're like, I pick the right spot, because if I come to this school and people are coming here and they put the work in and I can just do the work they're doing, look at the results. Like, they're on TV, Absolutely. They're moving ahead.
At
like,
Creative Pro Homecoming last weekend, Max Caster was at his table and he was talking to someone who was like 20 years old. And he called me over and he said, this person here, I forget his name, but he said he wants to sign up for a wrestling school and he's considering this wrestling school. That was all he said. And I was like, dude, no, listen, you're here at Creative Pro Homecoming. We have the world champion in the building.
Yeah.
We have Max Caster in the building, Bear Bronson in the building. All these people are successful when they came from Creative Pro. There really is only one choice. And I stand by that. If you want to go to other wrestling schools to see how they train, please do. I love going to see how other wrestling schools train too, because I need that multiple points of view. That's why Creative Pro is good, because it's an entity of people. It's not just one person running the school. Brian Myers, Pat Buck, Max Bronson, all these people that come together to make the school successful, and getting all these different points of view, learning from the best parts of these people and seeing what works for you is how you will become successful.
Yeah, that you nailed it. You absolutely nailed it right there in the head. And Pat Buck, if you don't know, please go do your research. The hardest grinding person in the business. Like, he just works and works and works, and it took him as long as it took him to get where he needs to be. But he made those connections. He put the work in, everything about that. And I think where I think why you're such a good fit in that school is we kind of talked about this before and in person on other podcast platforms is for the most part, you commute by bike. You ride your bike to a train to a thing, back on your bike.
My first year, that's what I did.
And most people would say to themselves, "Oh, that's too far. I can't get this done. I have to figure things out." Like there's people who would put so many barriers in their way to say why they can't do something, and that's just not in your character. You're gonna say like, "Okay, it's far, but if I can get a bike and get like you map that all out in your brain, like you had that drive, you have that work ethic, and I think that's why you're getting the opportunities you're getting. And when MJF walks in the door, they say, "Hey, kid, you're getting the main event," because everything about your work ethic is proving that you deserve everything you're getting.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah. And I think like a Pat Buck and a Caster and Myers and Cardona all see that in you. And it's contagious not to be like, I want this person, like you want people around you who stay positive, who are motivated, who do all the right things. And that's you.
Well, thank you. Cardona said recently, you can control 3 things in the wrestling industry. You can control your gear, like what you wear. You can control your tan and your physique. That's all rolled into one. And you can control your attitude. So if you have a good attitude and you know that you need to be real with yourself and make sacrifices and things like that, then you can only go up from there.
Yeah. So there's one photo I was trying to find and I just couldn't find it. Of you in AEW, getting just destroyed through a cage. That happened, and then I think it was like 2 days later or that weekend after it happened on a Wednesday is when we met at where we hung out a little bit at Shore Star. And I just remember like, yo, are you good? You're like you now obviously I don't think the intention was for you to fall between the apron and the cage.
No, they told me not to do that actually.
Yeah. But
specific instructions. Get your feet underneath you so you don't fall in between the cage.
Yeah.
And they were like, there's 6 inches where there's an opening. So just don't fall in between. But I can't fight gravity sometimes.
And Wardlow's a very strong human being.
Also that.
So how did they, like on camera, you don't see, how did you get out of that spot?
Oh my God. I was laying there and nobody came to get me. There was a camera guy that came over. He was like, "Hey dude, you can leave now." And I was like, "What?" So I just like, because I was in pain, obviously. I poked my head up. Ring was empty. Not a single person in the ring. I was like, "They left me here."
Is the cage still down?
Cage is still down, yes. Yeah.
So are you trapped between, are you trapped like standing vertically? Are you like laundry basket, feet up, like folded like a chair in between?
Something like that. It wasn't like folded, but like my legs were up and my back was on the ground. It wasn't like comfortable, but I just stayed there until they told me to leave. And the ring was empty. So I just kind of made my way to the back. And then
so you had to shimmy your way back into the ring and then out the cage.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Pat Buck was right there. He was the first one to check on me. He was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I'll be all right."
And then that's when I first took my professional wrestling bump. I only ever have one, and that's all I'll ever have.
Oh, there you go.
I took the decapitation, and
that's
then
right.
I was your inaugural Earth Championship victory.
That's right.
Put me on cage match. That's it.
How I won the Earth Championship.
You decapitation me, and won the champ. I'll hold that forever. I was the first.
You were the first.
And then you had some experience at WWE, doing some stuff, and not just a backstage security guard thing, because that's 90% of what you're going to get when you go there. You're going to play a security guard. You're going to be a backstage person. You actually got an in-ring match. Unfortunately, it was Omos. Is this the highest you've probably ever been in your life? Like,
oh yeah,
you're up there. He's listed as like probably the biggest guy WWE's ever had, right? Like he's bigger than Andre.
Yeah, I don't know if he's taller than Andre or not, but when I lived in Manhattan, I went to the observation deck of the Empire State Building and One World Trade Center, and I was not nearly as scared as I was getting thrown by Omos. So.
And then over the weekend, and this is just some of the names you got a chance to work, but this is the most recent one. And this is by far the best facial expression I've ever seen in my life. Boy, that you nailed it right then and there. Now here's one thing I will say, and how I say you can never take away from me that I was the one that Leo beat for the championship. You were a bigger heel in a building than the biggest heel in professional wrestling for one night only.
That's unreal to me. that sentence even exists.
Yes, you out heeled MJF for one night.
For one night. Yep.
One night. Yep.
I did.
And then you
That's right. I bashed his nuts in. He got a chant started. I'm gonna get your nuts bashed in.
Yeah.
And so I bashed his nuts in instead.
Yeah. The epitome of just, once again, hard work and everything that's going on there. MJF is right up there too, and he comes from the same school.
Oh yeah.
So you're trained. You were part of the first class that Max Caster trained, correct? So he graduated, and then he was part of a training class. How does that work?
I wouldn't. It's not like official like that.
Yeah.
But he trained me for the most part. I would just go to his classes because my first like 2 classes, I went home and I was like, I'm not having fun getting trained by Max Caster. He just like, he's not nice. He's just he's a hard ass. Yeah. And then I was like, you know what? No. I said that's how I learn the best, is through that discipline. When I'm training, I want you to make me feel awful because I don't want to feel like that. So I'm going to be better so I don't feel like that. So if you're like yelling at me and stuff, that's when I personally learn the best. Yeah. So I learned to appreciate it. And now we have a great relationship. He's my favorite trainer. Don't tell Brian.
Yeah.
But I love Max and how he trains.
Yeah. Now, who was all part of your class? Is that's still active right now?
So far, just me.
Just you. That's a thing that happens a lot in this business as well. It's tough to keep people around. It's
I know Max has had a hand in training other people. Like Bobby Orlando is partially trained by Max.
Mm-hmm.
Liam Davis partially trained by Max. But I know Max, for me at least, was there from day one and probably trained me for a majority of what I know.
So I seen Max and Anthony at a con in Hamburg, Pennsylvania, and
yes,
it was right after Billy Gunn left them for that little stint when he went back with his kids. And I went up to him. I said, "You know what's annoying right now?" He goes, "What?" I said, "Anyone can walk on TV like Jericho or Eddie Kingston, and they say one phrase, and literally 13 seconds later, it's on a T-shirt." I said, "How is Scissor Me Daddy Ass not on any merchandise?" And they looked at me dead in my face and go, "Who would wear a T-shirt that says Scissor Me Daddy Ass?" And I said, I would wear that shirt. And they said, "We have Scissor Me hats." They had before they all blew up, they were just little pink hats and they have Scissor Me and embroider on it. I was like, "I'll buy it." I said, "But like, huge missed opportunity. Like if Billy Gunn comes back, Scissor Me Daddy Ass better be on a T-shirt." And they're like, Yeah. And then a month later, Scissor Me Daddy Ass is the biggest thing in
highest selling T-shirt of all time. Beat Hook, beat CM Punk.
Yeah. And they literally said to me, "Who would wear that shirt?" I go, "Everyone." Ricky Price, I apologize for this guy. He's an absolute dirtball. So just be careful with this one.
A dirtball, huh?
He's an absolute dirt. Actually, you two should fight. You should beat him up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, realistically, I think it'd be a fantastic match. I think you guys would, complement each other very well in the ring. I think it would be actually really fantastic. Sweet. That'd be, yeah. But he says asking, spinach. Yeah, he goes asking for a friend who hates ABJ. Where did it go? It said, "What did it feel like beating ABJ up?" I think that's what was the question.
What did it feel like?
Yeah, like kneeing me in the head. I think it disappeared though.
Oh
yeah.
Well,
it might have got removed by YouTube because it probably said beating him up or something. But that was the question.
Very easy.
Yeah, it was super easy. Yeah, I wasn't looking, and Leo Sparrow's the man. I can't hang with this dude.
Yeah, you got decapitated.
Yeah, they said such a hilarious team on AEW. They absolutely are. Ricky is a sweetie. He's not, but I definitely think Leo Sparrow versus Ricky Price should definitely be booked somewhere. So someone make that happen, because I think it'd be a great match. I did not delete it, Tina. It was deleted by YouTube standard practices. But yeah, I think that'd be a great match. Just being honest, I think you guys have very similar styles, and I think it'd be really fun to watch. Oh yeah, they said I dirt my eyes, so he got lucky.
Oh yeah,
I was picking up trash, but I'm not making excuses. I took that knee, and I was out cold. I don't remember much after.
Yeah.
So what are some other? So another thing I like to ask here, and it's something that I've just having conversations with wrestlers and people in the business, is you have that moment where you're like, maybe you're not struggling, but you're trying to put the pieces together. You're trying to figure out exactly, what am I missing here to take that next step, to take that next leap, or to get to that next level. And then you have that match, or you have that training class, or you get to work with somebody in a capacity where you get backstage and it just clicks. Have you had that moment yet? And if so, when did it happen?
The cool thing about wrestling is that you never really stop learning. So I've had that moment a few times, and each time I have that click moment, it's like, how did I not realize this before?
Mm-hmm.
And thank you to whoever that person that was, or whatever I watched that brought it out of me. So like wrestling, probably the biggest example was Wrestling Max last weekend, where he just made a bunch of things click for me. So I've watched it a bunch of times to really nitpick myself and see how I can be better. And I learned a lot from the experience.
Yeah. What are some things you think you need to build on when it comes to you as a wrestler or a performer?
Good question. In what way? Like in ring?
At all? What do you think? Because you said you're probably your own worst critic. What do you think when you look at yourself? What are things that you think that you need to work on?
Well, probably the thing I'm working the best on right now is my body. Every day I spend an hour at least going to work out and just eating as much as I can to try and have a nice body. And I know that takes time, and that is killing me. Yeah. Just the waiting portion of it.
Well, you are still very young. You still have the young man metabolism, where it's probably quicker than what you're able to produce. And also, not a gimmick, you're 100% vegan. Yes. So is there a challenge being a vegan and also trying to pack on big muscle mass?
Yeah, there is. But in some ways it kind of helps, because knowing that, hey, I'm a vegan, I don't naturally get as much protein as I need. I have to go out of my way to get the protein. It helps because I know that I have to get that protein in. So I do.
Yeah.
Where if I wasn't a vegan, I wouldn't necessarily be thinking about it all the time, because I'm like, oh, it just comes naturally.
Yeah. You're gonna have, like, honestly, like I use them as an example all the time. You look at like Jordan Oliver, and you look at some of these guys they're young, and it took a while for to learn their body, and for them their workout and their metabolism to all hit the right thing. And now the kid put on muscle mass and he looks amazing. That'll come, and it's definitely frustrating, but I can definitely see where you're coming from. But also, you're working with your diet and your lifestyle choice on top of that, which is definitely going to be tough for you. When did you fully commit to that lifestyle and veganism, and what was your factors of doing so?
A little over 2 years ago is when I fully went vegan. I remember that my mom did it, and she was like, oh, I feel great. And she's into nutrition and fitness and all this stuff. So she sent me some documentaries and recipes to try, and I was like, oh, I really like it. And then the documentaries really is what gets you, because you're like, oh, I see all the negative aspects of like the animal agriculture industry, and I didn't want to be a part of it. So I just wasn't.
Yeah. Now, how do you handle being around, like if you go out to dinner with friends and they order meat, like are you cool? Like, will you sit at the same table? Or
they make their own choices. I mean, I know what I eat and how I live, and that's cool with me.
Okay. I don't want to treat veganism the same way, but it's like I try to process in my brain how, like, if you're someone who doesn't drink, like I don't go to bars because I don't want to be in that environment. Like, but if you're out with people, not many people in the world are vegan. And then
Right.
is it hard being on the road? And I kind of had this question with Harleen Lopez, who is also
Yeah.
up and coming out of.
She's team vegan.
Yeah, she's also team. And I even said you guys would be like the perfect tag team or partners.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Team vegan. And I asked her the same question. How do you go about life on the road and being a professional wrestler, and everything you really get is fast food, or, you know, that's the easiest way to go about it. So what do you do to prep for that on your travels?
Chipotle really is my best friend. And there's a Chipotle at almost every rest stop, and I can get rice and beans so easily.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I eat for the most part. That's always my go-to. Or like those they're vegan like protein cookies, the Lenny's and Larry's complete cookies. Those are great, and they're at every gas station. So that too.
Yeah. I had vegan food at another friendly vegan wrestler, Ultramanus Black.
Yeah, there you go.
Huge vegan, and he helps runs a lot of shows. What's the LVAC wrestling shows, which are always a blast. If you're in the Northern PA area, please go seek those shows out.
Yeah, I was on the last one. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and everything they serve there is vegan, like vegan cookies, donuts, pizza.
So cool. They named a donut after me.
Yeah, I
love donuts.
Slice of
I
pizza.
love vegan donuts, and they named a vegan donut after me, and it was like, it made me so happy.
It was really like, if I would have eaten it, I would have never known it was vegan. It tasted good. Like, I don't know, if it was more, I think more available, I wouldn't hate it. But you know what I mean?
Yes, that's the thing, because when it's done right, you can't taste the difference.
Yeah. Totally. I totally agree. Now, is meal prep big for you when you travel? I know Harleen said that her big thing is meal prep, where she knows she's going to be away for the weekend. She'll pack and have everything that to go that route. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Interesting. To me, that's the hardest part from when I was doing the commentary as much as I was doing it, and every weekend, 2 or 3 shots. So every Friday, Saturday, Sundays. And it's just like, I just ate like garbage. Like Slim Jims and energy drinks were really my life.
They'll kill you. Yep.
And then I'm like, oh my God, I feel like crap. And I'm like, because you're eating like trash.
I'm still drinking energy drinks though. So
yeah. Well, what's the go-to energy drink? What's your brand?
Oof. I like C4 and Celsius.
The Celsius ones are good. I don't feel like you're drinking an energy drink. It's almost like a juice.
Yes. Sometimes it tastes like seltzer. They're good. I like it. And they're smaller too. So it just seems healthier for some reason.
Now, do you drink?
Not often.
Not often. Because I know like that vegan options are becoming big in the craft beer industry as well. Like
I didn't know like beer was not vegan.
Well, not vegan. What's the other one? Not vegan. The other thing that people, gluten, is it? Is like gluten-free beer?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. I mixed the two up. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah. So right now in your career path, what are some places that you want to work, or some talent you would like to work that are out there?
Well, I really want to work with the NWA. That's a major goal of mine, is to go and work with the NWA on a consistent basis and be a part of their roster. I just, when I started wrestling, I would go back and, like when I said I was appreciating it in a different way, I would go and watch like old NWA TV title matches and see like Sting and Great Muta and Sam Houston and them just like have fun matches. And I was liking those matches. So I want to be a part of their organization. And I like how they've had a resurgence since 2020. And I want to be a part of it.
I'm looking at their roster now. Who I haven't watched in a minute. Who are these 2 dudes that look like members of the band Ghost? They just like their skull. They have literally Ghost gear on. Like they have the Papa Emerita stuff going on.
Oh,
it looks amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm looking at the roster, and immediately there's one person I'm looking at. And I'm like, who would I want to see you wrestle on that NWA roster? And one person immediately jumps off the list at me. Who for you would you like to work on that roster?
Probably Bully Ray. I feel like he needs a handful of spinach to the face.
I would love for you to throw some spinach in his face. Absolutely. Yeah. I was thinking Ricky Morton's kid.
Oh yeah, Kerry Morton. That would be awesome.
You and Kerry would be a great match.
Yeah, we would tear it up for sure.
And who this guy here? He's listed on their roster. Jeeves K. I've never heard of him.
He's not on their roster.
He's on their this one page. They have him listed to there, but I didn't know he went by Jeeves K.
Not in the NWA, he doesn't.
Yeah. But that is another person that comes from your school. I'm a huge fan of as well. He's unbelievable. I miss going to PPW because he's like a regular there, and he's another
big tag team match this weekend coming up. Me and VSK versus Brian Myers and Joe Shoes for the FWF Tag Team Championships.
Really?
That's right.
And where's this happening at Creative Pro?
Hicksville. Yep,
Hicksville?
Creative Pro.
Okay. You and VSK as a tag team is very interesting to me.
Yep.
Is that like a permanent tag team you guys are rocking with, or is that?
I was his lackey for a little bit at the last few shows, just helping him catch a win here and there, and so we're gonna try it out as a tag team this show. See how it goes.
I like that. Very two of my favorite guys probably that are working there right now.
I learned a lot from him too.
yeah, but that's exciting. I have to check that out. Now, where can people watch Creative Pro shows?
Creative Pro. All right, so our most recent show, Creative Pro Homecoming, you can see Chick Donovan versus Jay George. You can see Leo Sparrow versus MJF, Bronson versus TJ Crawford, Bryce Donovan versus Vargas for the Creative Pro Championship. You can see all those. It's on YouTube for free right now. The entire show is on YouTube for free. And I don't know if we're going to continue posting full shows on YouTube for free, but they sometimes stream on the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast Twitch channel, Major Pod Network, Twitch channel, and potentially a streaming network in the near future.
Well, let's switch gears here with that podcast you talked about. So being someone who's listened to it for so long and liked what they did and stuff, how does it feel to then to sit behind the microphone or to make content with them?
It's a really cool feeling because a big driving factor for me in working somewhere is a sense of like meaningfulness. And I won't work somewhere if I don't feel like I want to be there. And being a part of the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast group, I guess, is just, it's cool. It's a very fun time because what they do is, it brings joy to me. I just stand in here and I look at these figures and it just brings me joy. And I really like being a part of the community and the team.
What line right now is your favorite figure line?
Probably the Mattel Ultimates. They're coming out with some crazy ones. This pink Ric Flair right behind my head is the first Ultimate that I bought, and it's just like it's some of the greatest wrestling figures of all time.
Yeah, the Ultimates are really cool. I have two Shawn Michaels ones. They're the only Ultimates I own.
Yeah, Shawn right here, this red one is an Ultimate.
Yeah, isn't there like a UK like a UK exclusive? I think that's the red one, and then there was another Ultimate that's like a different gear.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I gotta check it out.
My stuff's packed up, but I remember the one Shawn one I had to order from UK, and then it shipped here, and then the other Ultimate was that. But they just said it in the chat here. Do you have the Chase Razor? Why is the Chase one the purple gear? Like that's the one everybody wants.
That's the one that everybody wants.
Bastards.
I personally don't find right now, I don't have a need for it because up in the corner here, I have the Defining Moments one, which is the same gear. Oh, it's also right there signed, but it's the same gear and it's slightly different colors, but I don't find a need for it right now because I like the Defining Moments. It's one of my favorite figures.
I agree. Definitely my favorite line. I actually am selling off most of my AEW figures and only keeping a handful. I'm a factions guy, so I'm trying to, and I'll probably never get to finish the faction because they released one of them and then the other one changed his gimmick and they never made a toy for him. So the chance of them going backwards is slim. I like the Dark Order. I never got my Preston Vance with 10 with the masks, and he had 3 different variant masks that would have been amazing. And his Joker, the Deathstroke, never made a Preston Vance.
Wow.
Alan Angels never got a figure, and he's now no longer with the company. So I'll never have that complete Dark Order set. Wow. And then I have the Best Friends for the most part. The only one I have to get, when Dan Haslam comes out, then I'll add him to the list.
You can get the Pinnacle.
Yeah.
The new MJF just came out to Walmart is in the white Pinnacle gear, so now you can complete Pinnacle.
There you go. Pinnacle might be on the list at one point in time. They did make Sean Spears, didn't they? That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. So those Reynolds and 10 are coming out soon.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if 10 is coming out. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. But I know Reynolds. Oh my God, Reynolds. I feel so bad for him because John Silver had his figure come out smooth, no problems. And then Reynolds was announced, and then it was pushed back, and then it was like pushed back again, and then swapped out and swapped back in, and it was just like, just give me an Alex Reynolds figure.
I have 2 John Silver, Johnny Hungy figures. I have a complete one, and I have a error one. I have a box error.
Oh yeah.
They put the same head on the body in the packaging twice, so it's like it was an error, and I was like, I'm buying it because
there you go.
When's the chance you're gonna find that? So I have an error one. And then my favorite line right now, and I think it's because it's a mix between my childhood and then today's style. I love the Walmart WWE Superstar ones.
Oh yeah, those are very cool.
They're my favorites. I
don't have any of them because I know that when I buy one, I'm going to have to buy a ton of them.
I have so far everything that has been released.
Shawn Michaels is an amazing figure
with the Robin Egg Blue IC title. Yeah.
Yep.
The only one I have to rebuy is my Razor or my Scott Hall. Popped, like the plastic popped off the backing, so I just opened it and I have them on display behind me here. But I have to buy a new one to keep them in the box. But yeah, and then they have the Bam
Bam.
Bam
in the box.
Yeah. I almost opened them all one night in a Discord.
And
you
gotta open them up. Let them breathe.
You gotta let them breathe.
That's right.
I'm probably never gonna sell them. I should just open them and put them on
exactly. It's for you, and you get to display more of them if they're not in the box.
That's a good call. You might have talked me into it.
You got to do it.
And listen, if you're like top tier figure people, like you're part of the top tier.
Yeah,
people, you know what I mean.
It's
so
for you. Yeah, you keep it in the box.
I hate when people are like, oh, I collect them. Like you're never gonna sell them. And then by the time you go to sell them, you're not going to get what you think they're worth. So you might as well just enjoy it.
Right. Exactly. If you're holding on to it because you think it's going to garner value, it probably won't. But when you open it and resell it, at least you'll get for it what you paid.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I think you talked me into it. I think when I get my new place, I think I'll display them all.
Have to send me a picture when you do.
I will do. But yeah, those WWE ones are my favorite. They just announced Perfect's coming. The only problem is those fucking pre-orders. I pre-order them all, and then the day the pre-order is supposed to go, they cancel all your orders, and then you never get them.
Pre-orders are a total scam. You should never ever pre-order
on Walmart. It's a joke.
Because it means nothing.
Yeah. So I just stopped. I just wait to try to find them in the wild, and if I can, I'll just eBay it or something. But Piper's coming. Hogan's another Hogan. I'm not a big Hogan guy, but Hogan just to complete the set. Bam Bam Bigelow, Captain Lou Albano.
I haven't seen these. I might need that. Perfect.
Yeah. Who else? Rick Rude is coming. Mr. T, The Rock.
Oh, okay.
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch coming. They look awesome.
Nice.
But yeah, that's my favorite line. They're the ones I'm trying to fully collect. And then if I ever run into money, I would like to go back and collect all the old LGNs, the old classic ones. They're my favorites.
Nice.
My holy grail is Black and Silver Pants Sean.
Oh yeah.
I had it when I was a kid and I lost it in a house fire.
Oh wow.
And that's like the expensive one. Like if you want the Sean figures, that's like the chase or the rare one. But yeah. But they were my shit, man. That was my favorite figure line growing up. I always wanted that whole set.
You would like the Coliseum collection then. Do you know about those?
No.
So, all right, this Rick Rude right there is a part of the Coliseum collection line, and they're remaking all of the LJN figures into Mattel Ultimates. So this Rick Rude it's like purple, just like the LJN figure was. They have Hogan, they have I think Piper, Terry Funk, Rick Rude.
Terry Funk never had a figure, did he?
Terry Funk?
Back in the LGN things, was it?
Yeah.
Or not? What was it? I'm not talking about not LGN. What were the other one? The Hasbros. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, you threw me off with the LG. All right.
Yeah, that's my bad. That's
I'm Hasbro, Sean. Yeah, that's a good figure. But yeah, the LJNs, those are being remade into the Mattel Ultimates here.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm just looking them up now. Coliseum figures. What are the ones that are coming out? They're more like the Japanese figure ones, and they look like they're perfect. Like they look like they made a Bruiser Brody. They made
Power Town.
Yeah, they are really cool looking, but they're really expensive, right?
Amazing. Power Town, amazing figures. I've held them in my hand before. They're so cool. Bruiser Brody, Stan Hansen.
Murder
They
Grandpa,
had,
Suzuki.
yeah. What was Vern Gagne? Just like a bunch of they want to celebrate the older generation,
Mm-hmm.
and they feel like by doing these action figures, it can carry on the legacy and appeal to a certain niche of collectors in another niche industry.
Yeah.
So it's very cool. Great figures. So I'm excited for people to really get them in their hands.
So what is your holy grail figure you own, and what's the holy grail figure you want to own that you don't have?
So one of my favorite figures that I have is this Jushin Liger right here, Storm Collectibles Jushin Liger. And you can't really see it, but above it is one that's in the box and signed.
Where'd you meet Jushin at?
I didn't. I just saw it online and I bought it. So I was like, I need to have that. That's one of my favorite figures that I have. Ones that I don't own, I don't know. Probably ones that just haven't come out yet.
Yeah. Who's a figure that they don't have a figure of that you want a figure of?
Oh, I don't know. I know there are some Brett figures that I need.
That's right. You're a Brett guy, right?
I am a Brett guy.
Yeah, I'm a Sean all day.
Yeah. But I also need some Sean figures. I know there's Macho figures. The Brian Myers, Matt Cardona have new Super 7s coming out that are going to be awesome. So really excited for what the future holds in the figure industry.
And if I'm not mistaken, you have your own figure out, right?
I have Buddy. I have the Major Buddy.
I thought they made you a bendy. Aren't they making you
a
bendy?
No, not a bendy, but we have this. And it's the Leo Sparrow Major Buddy.
That looks awesome.
Looks just
Look at the tattoo.
Him.
Perfect. Everything.
Right? Beautiful attention to detail.
So when are you getting a bendy?
You ask them.
Well, you're part of the You're part of the team. Like, you know what I mean?
They need to hear it from, if they hear it from me, it doesn't mean anything. If they hear it from other people,
Hornswoggl's out here choke slamming you. You're out here getting these big matches. You deserve a bendy.
I think you're absolutely right. And let them know that you want a Leo Sparrow bendy, and they'll be more inclined to make one.
Everyone who's watching this right now, when this podcast is over,
go tweet
on tweet at Make Your Figures Pod,
at Matt Cardona, at Myers_Wrestling, at Major Wrestling Figure Podcast. We need a Leo Sparrow bendy.
Yes, we need all the Leo Sparrow stuff. Like this, let's get it going. We just need it. and they're making like old school Hasbro remakes too. So let's just throw that in there as well.
Yeah,
we need a Leo Sparrow Hasbro. Yeah.
Let me get a micro brawler.
I'm subscribed to the crate. Throw it in there. I want it in the crate.
They have major pod crates where they
do they really?
Yeah, they had 2 of them. They had one like a year or 2 ago, and they just had another one that's shipping like any day now. Yeah, and they always put micro brawlers in there too. So maybe we'll get a Leo brawler. Tell them you want a Leo. I think a Leo Sparrow micro brawler is a lot more realistic than a Leo Sparrow bendy because I know what those cost and they're pretty expensive. So tell them a Leo Sparrow micro brawler and they will sell well. I think so.
I'll buy a micro brawler. I'll definitely buy
a few of them.
Yeah. What's that? Speaking of Cardona, he just did the Zack Ryder promo.
Zack Ryder promo video with Steph DeLander, and it was pretty cool. It's just 2 minutes of him revisiting the Z Chul Allen story, and then Persia Parada, which was Steph DeLander's NXT name. They get into a white limo and it explodes.
Yeah. That little team up they have going on right now is really good. It's like Diesel Sean, but like a different version of it. I love it so much.
Steph DeLander is really cool. Very new addition, but a great addition to the.
And I'm not asking this for any inside information because I know you wouldn't tell me, and I don't want to know the answer. I want to be surprised. But man, if you could fantasy book Cardona coming back to the E, how would you do it?
Oh man.
I have my theory.
I don't know where he would fit in. But he's a guy that you could throw into the main event and nobody would blink twice.
Yeah. So I would bring him in. around the time Cody becomes champion. And I would bring him in as Zack Ryder just to piss everybody off. Because nobody wants to see him as Zack Ryder ever again.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd have him like get squashed. And I would have him turn into like, this is why I didn't come back to this bullshit. Like, snap. This is why I didn't want to come back to this bullshit. This is I was doing better out there. And I come back and this is the nonsense I deal with. And then like maybe a month later, Cardona, he reemerges back as Cardona and he challenges Cody for the title.
Wow. All right. Maybe
I would bring him back in at first as Zack, just so everyone on the internet shits on it, because they're going to, and he would lean so perfectly into the internet hate, and then him rebranding as Matt Cardona and then just going full heel in front of everyone's eyes and he can't do everything. Oh, what is happening there? I don't know. My phone just went or something just went crazy, but can't fully do it right off the bat, or full Cardona, what he's doing on the Indies and WWE. But I think that would be I would love to see that. I think him and Cody would be a great feud when Cody gets that title, because it's only a matter of time. Yeah. That'd be my fantasy booking.
That's awesome. Sounds like a good plan.
Hire me, WWE. But listen, man, I'm going to let you go. Before we get out of here, if anyone has any last questions, please put them in the chat.
Questions.
Let's get some questions in. And where can people find you on social
find
media
me
besides the links below?
Any social media platform at No Steak All Sizzle right there. You can see any content I post, any future shows that I have. Like I said, this Sunday, May 28th, we will be filming FWF Live number 5. You can see Matt Cardona versus Phil Cardigan. You could see VSK and Leo Sparrow versus Brian and Joe Shoes. You could see Notorious Mimi versus Steph DeLander, and a bunch of other really cool matches also coming up. Let's check the calendar, shall we?
Yeah, bring it up.
All right, so June 10th, if you're local to Long Island, we have VPW in Bayshore. Leo Sparrow versus Desmond Cole for the New York State Championship. That should be a great match. June 11th, very special show is Mackenzie Mania. This is Mackenzie Myers, Brian Myers' daughter, is having her 7th, I think, birthday party. And she put together a fantasy card. In the main event, she wants Brian Myers versus her favorite wrestler, Leo Sparrow.
Oh,
so that's going to be a fun time for me, and we'll see who wins that match. But those are some shows that I'm looking forward to.
You should do a spoof shirt, like a Leo Sparrow spoof shirt for that one. Remember where he had the Mets Myers and it had all the checks of all of his losses? You should spoof that for that.
Oh, match. Yeah.
And like start a new scratch or something like that. Like you're gonna start another losing streak for him.
All right.
that was a fun shirt. Here's our first question here. If you can write a letter to a younger Leo Sparrow, what would it say?
I did that actually, and I don't remember what I wrote, but it was like not necessarily a letter to my younger self, but when I printed my first 8x10. I like signed it to myself and I just wrote a bunch of stuff on it to just like be proud of yourself and remember why you're doing this. So if I could write a letter to my younger self, hit the gym earlier. Just keep working harder. That's something that Max Caster always says to me, is just keep working harder. And if you keep working harder, then it'll pay off.
Yeah, I honestly think, man, your style of wrestling, your character work, your crowd work, like you're not out there doing anything absolutely insane. You will bust some stuff out if need be, but I think you work a really good style your body will hold up doing it for a very long time. Well,
that's good. I do want that.
Yeah, like you're not like, I've seen you do crazier things where you did a tornado DDT off a backboard.
The Hurricanrana from the slam dunk.
The Hurricanrana slam dunk. But even that was done, like everything you're doing is very, I guess, like behind the curtain a little bit, is done safely. You're not, I don't watch a match by you and go, oh my God, he's like, except the Wardlow spot where I was like, oh my God, I thought he broke his neck. Like you work safe, you work smart, and you know where you don't have to do the crazy stuff because you're going to make up for it with crowd participation and working the crowd to get them into your match and not having to rely on stuff that you're going to break your body doing. And I think that comes from your schooling and your training as well, because the people you're working with are going to teach you that. And that's what's going to make you shine.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Any chance we see Leo Sparrow at the NYWC Sportatorium?
Ooh, you got to let them know that you want to see me. I know some of the guys over there, and I'm friendly with them. So if you can, if you want to see me there, you contact NYWC. Say you want to see Leo Sparrow, they can reach out to me. That's crazy. How that goes. This is the message to everybody. If you want to see one of your favorite wrestlers in a specific place, if you want to see Leo Sparrow wrestle at Creative Pro Wrestling, contact Creative Pro Wrestling or a decision maker from Creative Pro Wrestling. Let them know that you like Leo Sparrow. You are a paying fan who wants to go buy a ticket to see Leo Sparrow on their show. And maybe they will just put them on their show. Tina has done this, has said, I love Leo Sparrow and I want to see him on the show. And because of that, I've gotten booked on the show.
On this podcast have said, I would love to see this matchup. And months later, it happens because people I didn't think that was a possibility. And then they hear from you that you're interested. You have more power on social media than you think you do if you use it for the
words
right
out of my mouth. You have the power.
Yep, absolutely. Tina says, not a question. Just want Leo to know I'm so proud of him and always supporting. Much respect.
Thank you very much.
Tina is amazing.
Tina is one of my biggest supporters and fans, and I really appreciate her.
Same here. She's always rocking the iHeart stuff. So I appreciate her so much.
See you soon.
Yeah. Where in the world would Leo Sparrow like to wrestle?
Everywhere.
Do you have a special country? Where would you like to go first? Raz is from Australia. Just putting that out there.
Oh, yeah? I got some friends recently who came over from Australia. So I would love to go to Australia. Some promotions reach out to me, actually, from Australia. But those flights are super expensive. So let me make some more money wrestling here first so I can buy a flight.
Buy those wrestling buddies. Buy those Leo Sparrow pro wrestling tees and wrestling buddies.
LeoSparrow.com. You can buy Leo Sparrow wrestling buddies and a very, very limited amount. Let me pull it out right here. I'm down to the wire here on my Leo Sparrow Pokemon cards. That's me and Venusaur. I'll sign it in green, all nice for you. And
the Pokemon cards are amazing. How you do them too.
Thank you. I love the design. I'm very happy with them. So Leo Sparrow Wrestling Buddies and Pokemon cards available at leosparrow.com. Also, I upload matches to leosparrow.com if I have any matches that I want people to see. Most recent upload would be Leo Sparrow versus AEW World Champion MJF. Click on it, brings you right to the YouTube page where you can watch it. As of this morning, has 250,000 views, which is crazy.
Goals.
So thank you guys for that. I'm sure it's all because of me.
No one else. Who else would it be?
Just me.
Yeah. If maybe this question's coming from channeling their Cardona here. If you could wrestle one ECW wrestler, I'll even add to the question, alive or dead, who would it be?
That's a crazy question. I like ECW a lot. I'm a big ECW fan. And I recently had the pleasure of wrestling Tommy Dreamer, and just to sit under his learning tree and listen to what he has to say and then get put through a door by him was just super cool for me. Recently, I talked to Raven because he was also at Creative Pro Homecoming, and I like ECW a lot. But which ECW wrestler would I want to wrestle? I mentioned Bully Ray before. Damn, all of them. I don't know. RVD.
I was gonna say it has to be RVD.
Yeah.
You can actually get the second generation. Would you? What about you versus Hook?
Me versus Hook? That would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be
that would be awesome.
Yeah, I think another one too. I think that'd be a good stylistic matchup. You versus Hook.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think that might. I'll give you guys a couple more seconds here to put any more out there. But yeah, you know what would be a fun match too? I think just because the character work alone, I would like to see it. What's and that? Effie.
Me and Effie?
Yes.
Effie's going to be at our next Creative Pro show, but he's going to be wrestling Aaron Rourke. So I don't know. Maybe I could swing something my way, and we'll see what happens. But Effie is a friend, and I would love to work with him.
When I think of the names on the independent scene that I feel like are big draws that are not signed to a major company or anything like that, the two Matt and Effie are probably the two hot ones right now. I feel if they walk into your promotion, people are coming because it's those two names. But yeah, and I'm a heterosexual straight man, but if Effie kissed me in the ring, I would 100%.
You would say thank you.
I would say absolutely. I would say thank you, Daddy.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the only response you're supposed to say there. I still want that Stan Styles match. Cream spinach. Ooh. Oh, that's a good one. I like that.
He's a creamy boy. I don't want that anywhere near me.
Yeah, I don't think that would go with your thing. Hook wrestled at Creator Pro last year.
He did, yeah.
Here's probably the best question. Here, go ahead. You can finish your thought with Hook.
Hook came to Creator Pro, the grand stage. Carlo Weiss called him out, and then he retired Carlo Weiss. So I don't know if I want to wrestle Hook because the last guy he wrestled at Creator Pro does not wrestle anymore.
Oh, there you go. Here's the question everybody wants to know, and I think I know the answer. Does Leo Sparrow love ABJ?
Yes, I do.
There it is. I love that. You made my day. Leo Sparrow versus Ty Awesome.
I've wrestled Ty Awesome before at SSW.
There it is. Look it up. Seek it out.
It's probably on my website. Go check it out. Or YouTube.
Stan Styles will be an amazing guest in the show. I agree. I'll probably reach out to Stan very soon. Dropping by to say what's up. Thank you, Devin. But that'll do it, everybody. Thank you so much. Make sure you seek Leo Sparrow out on all social media. Go to his website. Go buy that merchandise. Get him to Australia. Get him to these places. Do all Ricky Price. I thought you went to bed, Ricky Price. Get out of here. He said it's okay if you don't love ABJ. Ignore him. That's the match I want. I want Ricky Price, Leo Sparrow. We need to get that book. If you're listening High Tension or Smash Master or all this, let's make it happen. Yes, follow Leo on all social media. Get those wrestling buddies. Once I get on my feet and get myself situated, I'll be ordering a Leo Sparrow wrestling buddy because.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, because I think they came out amazing, and dude, I appreciate you so much for doing this and taking your time out. This door is always open. Anytime you want to come back, you're more than welcome. I'd love to have you. Any closing remarks or anything you want to say to the people before we get out of here?
I don't think so. ABJ is one of my favorite commentators, podcast hosts, personalities in the pro wrestling world. So thank you very much for having me on your show. I really wanted to be a part of it. Not every podcast is something that you look forward to because often it's always the same questions, but it's the people and the hosts and the people that watch that make it fun. So Thank you for having me. Guys, no steak, all sizzle on all social media. Right after this, go follow me, leosparrow.com. Go watch a match. Go buy a buddy. Do something like that. Thank you guys for listening to me speak. If I entertained you at all, you're welcome. But that's it.
I couldn't have said any better. Here's some music by Converse Kid, Billy Trey. We're out of here.
Thank you.